Did you know that in 2011, a study was conducted on the voting patterns of American citizens during the 2008 presidential election? The study found that voters who were asked to recall and justify their choice of candidate were significantly more likely to support their original choice, even if they disagreed with some of their candidate's policies or actions. In other words, voters who were asked to actively think about why they supported a certain candidate became more entrenched in their views, even if presented with evidence that challenged their beliefs. This is a clear example of the choice supportive bias, where people tend to rationalize and justify their past decisions, even if presented with information that suggests otherwise. This study highlights the importance of critical thinking and self-reflection in our decision-making processes, as well as the potential dangers of becoming too attached to our past choices. Hey rational rebels! Welcome to the arena of reason, the very spot we train our minds to spot cognitive pitfalls. This is Chris from Critical Conditioning, where we strive for cognitive precision and free our minds from that mental prison. Today's episode is all about the choice supportive bias, a common cognitive bias that affects our decision-making process. We'll dive deep into this topic and explore ways to overcome this bias, thereby improving our reasoning abilities. If you find our content informative and valuable, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Also, consider donating to our PayPal using the link in the description to support the channel and help us produce more informative episodes. And remember, sharing is caring. Share this episode with someone you know who may benefit from sharpening their analytical skills. So, let's continue our journey of critical conditioning and strengthen our minds together. Choice supportive bias. Fun fact: according to a study published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology, the choice supportive bias can even affect our memory. Participants in the study were shown two similar products and asked to choose which one they preferred. Later, when asked to recall the features of each product, participants were more likely to remember the features of the product they chose, even if those features were not accurate. Have you ever found yourself sticking to a decision you made in the past, even when it's not the best option? Well, that's because of the choice supportive bias, a phenomenon where we tend to prefer choices we have previously made, even if they are not the best option. Let's explore some fascinating studies and questionnaire results that reveal just how pervasive this bias can be. 1. In a study by Sharad et al., 2010, participants were asked to choose between two vacation options based on a set of attributes, such as hotel quality and location. After they made their choice, participants were shown a list of additional attributes that were not part of the initial decision. They were then asked to rate the importance of these additional attributes. The results showed that participants rated the attributes that were consistent with their initial choice as more important, even if they were irrelevant to the decision. 2. In a questionnaire by Ryder et al., 2014, participants were asked to choose between two similar products, such as smartphones or laptops. They were then asked to rate the features of each product, such as battery life and screen size. The results showed that participants rated the features of their chosen product more positively and the features of the unchosen product more negatively, even if the features were objectively similar. 3. In a study by Waxlack et al., 2008, participants were asked to choose between two different types of water bottles based on a set of attributes, such as price and design. They were then asked to rate the importance of each attribute. The results showed that participants rated the attributes of their chosen water bottle as more important than the attributes of the unchosen water bottle. 4. In a questionnaire by Simonson and Naulis, 2000, participants were asked to choose between two different types of jam based on their taste preferences. Later, they were asked to rate their satisfaction with their choice. The results showed that participants who had a difficult time choosing between the two jams were more satisfied with their choice than those who had an easy time choosing. 5. In a study by Newman et al., 2014, participants were asked to choose between two different job offers based on a set of attributes, such as salary and benefits. They were then asked to rate their satisfaction with their chosen job. The results showed that participants who had chosen their job were more satisfied with their decision than those who had not chosen their job. 6. In a study by Rizin and Gilovich, 2008, participants were asked to choose between two different types of music, such as jazz or classical. Later, they were asked to rate the quality of their chosen music. The results showed that participants rated the quality of their chosen music as higher than the unchosen music, even though the two types of music were objectively equal. These studies and questionnaires demonstrate the various ways in which the choice-supportive bias can manifest itself. Whether it's affecting our perception of product features or our satisfaction with our decisions, it's clear that this bias can have a significant impact on our lives. As we've seen, the choice-supportive bias can affect anyone, but are there any individual differences that make some people more susceptible to it? Interestingly, there are some factors that can influence the strength of this bias. One study by Waxlack et al., 2008, found that individuals with a high need for cognitive closure, meaning they prefer quick and simple answers to complex questions, were more likely to exhibit the choice-supportive bias. This is because they may feel more confident in their initial decision and be less likely to consider alternatives. Additionally, a study by Koo and Fishbach, 2012, found that individuals who are more future-focused, meaning they prioritize future goals over current desires, are less likely to exhibit the choice-supportive bias. This is because they are more likely to consider the long-term consequences of their decisions. There is also some evidence to suggest that older individuals may be less susceptible to the choice-supportive bias, as they may have more experience making decisions and be more likely to consider alternative options. While the choice-supportive bias can affect anyone, individual differences such as cognitive closure, future focus, and age can impact the strength of this bias. I got a question for you guys: do you think the choice-supportive bias is always a bad thing? Some people argue that sticking to our past decisions can be a sign of loyalty and commitment, while others believe that it can hold us back from considering better options. What's your take on this? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to read what others are thinking. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on future discussions. The choice-supportive bias is a phenomenon that affects us all, and it's likely that you've encountered it in your everyday life without even realizing it. Here are some examples of how the choice-supportive bias can impact our daily decisions. 1. Smoking. Many smokers continue to smoke despite knowing the risks to their health. This is not only due to physiological addiction but also because of the choice-supportive bias. Once individuals identify as a smoker, they may have formed a sense of identity around it, possibly even having joked about being the cool kids in school who smoked or boasted about having more breaks at work. Breaking free from this identity and habit can be difficult due to the choice-supportive bias, even if quitting smoking is critical for their health later in life. 2. Eating junk food. We often continue to eat junk food, even when we know it's not good for our health. This is because we have formed a habit of eating certain foods and may be reluctant to try healthier options. The choice-supportive bias can lead us to stick to our past decision to eat junk food rather than considering healthier alternatives, even when we know it's not the best choice for our health. 3. Avoiding exercise. We may continue to avoid exercise, even though we know it's important for our health. This could be because we have formed a habit of not exercising or because we find it difficult to start a new exercise routine. The choice-supportive bias can make us stick to our past decision of not exercising, even when we know it's not good for our physical health. 4. Staying in toxic relationships. Many people continue to stay in toxic relationships, even when they know it's not good for their mental health. This is often due to the choice-supportive bias, where they stick to their past decision to stay in the relationship rather than considering leaving. This bias can make individuals focus on the positive aspects of the relationship, even when they are outweighed by the negative aspects. 5. Drinking alcohol. We may continue to drink alcohol despite knowing the negative effects it can have on our health. This is because we have formed a habit of drinking and may be reluctant to try alternatives. The choice-supportive bias can make us stick to our past decision of drinking, even when we know it's not good for our physical and mental health. These are just a few examples of how the choice-supportive bias can lead us to continue doing things that are bad for us. By being aware of this bias, we can try to make more informed decisions and break free from unhealthy habits that may be detrimental to our health and well-being. So how to spot the choice-supportive bias? To spot the choice-supportive bias in yourself and others, it's important to pay attention to your decision-making process and ask yourself if you're sticking to a previous decision simply because it's what you've always done or if you're considering all available options. If you notice yourself or others rationalizing past decisions, it could be a sign of the choice-supportive bias. Another helpful and proven technique is to ask yourself if you would make the same decision again today, with the same available information and context. By challenging your assumptions, considering alternatives, and regularly checking in with yourself, you can become more aware of the presence of the choice-supportive bias and take steps to overcome it. Simply being aware of the bias can also help you spot it and avoid falling victim to it in the future, as with most biases and fallacies. One of the most shocking things about the choice-supportive bias is how prevalent it is in our everyday lives. This bias can affect our decision-making processes in profound ways, often leading us to stick with past decisions rather than considering new options. The fact that we may be unaware of the influence of the choice-supportive bias makes it even more alarming. Now, I want to turn it over to you, the audience. Do you have any impactful examples in your life where you or someone you know fell victim to the choice-supportive bias? Share your experiences in the comments below and let's have a conversation about how we can become more aware of this bias and make more informed decisions in the future. I hope you found the information on the choice-supportive bias both informative and enlightening. Remember, this bias can have a huge impact on our decision-making process, and being aware of it is the first step in overcoming it. Before we go, I want to remind you to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you know someone who may have fallen victim to this bias, be sure to share this video with them. Lastly, I want to make an urgent appeal to donate to our PayPal using the link in the description. Your donations help us to continue creating quality content that strengthens your analytical skills and critical thinking abilities. So please, donate today and show your support. Keep your mind sharp, rational rebels, until the next time we meet in the arena of reason. This is Chris from Critical Conditioning signing off.